Good morning. I hereby call this meeting to order. And we have quite a few guests to introduce this morning. Former Director Mike Patterson is with us. I just saw him. Oh, went sat in back. All right. Then we have Bryson Hunt with the Association of General Contractors and the OGC Construction Club from Western Heights here with us today. They are doing a field trip so they can see firsthand how this process works. Welcome to you all. We also have Representative Emily Guise and Nicole Miller, big supporter of ours, Senator John Haste, and Senator Michael Brooks. Where are the senators? Oh, all right. Excuse me, they were scratched. I can't see through my glasses here. All right. Secretary, please call the roll.
Mr. Coburn? Over here. Mr. Studeville?
Studeville here.
Mr. Shannon?
Here.
Mr. Freimiller?
Freimiller here.
Mr. Dyson?
Dyson here.
Mr. Alexander?
Alexander here.
Mr. LaForge?
LaForge here.
Mr. Junk?
Here.
Mr. Peterson?
Here. Director Gatch, you're recognized to present.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Really excited to have the students in the room with us this morning. That's something the AOGC is working really hard at to make sure that kids understand heavy highway construction and some of the things that we do. So it's always great to have them in the room with us and learn a little bit about the Transportation Commission and some of the work that we do here in this meeting once a month. And again, really appreciate the legislative support that we've got, and Bobby Stem with the AOGC for the work with the kids. If my understanding is correct, this is one of the 14 construction clubs that the AOGC's got set up across the state. So anything that we can do as we begin to think about the workforce challenges we're going to have for the future, to make sure that young people know that there are opportunities that exist for them to work in the transportation field. So again, to the kids, thank you guys for taking the time out of your day to come sit in with us, and we're really excited to have you here. Mr. Chairman, also want to make an introduction this morning. TJ Dill is coming on board with the Department of Transportation as our co-chief engineer. Brian Taylor, as you know, has given us an indication that he's going to retire later on in 2025. Because of that and him giving us the opportunity, it gives us a chance to have a good transition. And TJ is going to have the opportunity to work side by side with Brian. And that's the best opportunity that you can possibly hope for, is to have that transitional period. So thanks to Brian for giving us that chance. TJ is an Oklahoma State grad, and he started working for us as an EIT in 2013 and served as resident engineer in Enid, then became the resident engineer in Yukon. And during his tenure with the department, he worked on the I-40 Crosstown, looked at some of the work to really get that big project cleaned up and finalized. He was also instrumental in several other projects, one in particular being the rehabilitation project of the Belle Isle Bridge in Oklahoma City in 2017. He was named the assistant district engineer for District 4, overseeing maintenance and construction activities in the Oklahoma City metro area in 2017. And then from 2018 to 2020, he did a short stint with the private sector, came back to the Turnpike Authority in 2020 and served as their director of construction, their chief engineer, and most recently as their deputy director. And want to join myself and Chief Engineer Taylor in offering TJ a warm welcome back to the department. And Mr. Chairman, if I might, want to recognize Taylor Henderson to make a similar introduction. So.
Hello, Chairman, Commissioners. Appreciate the opportunity today. Good morning.
to introduce Mr. Stephen Gote as our new state maintenance engineer. Stephen, if you'd stand up. Stephen is a native of South Louisiana, so we have some of that flavor coming on board with us. He started his career in a private engineering firm, and then he began work with ODOT in 2015, where he began work in District 4 as the bridge and local government engineer. He held a stint in environmental programs for a few years as the assistant division engineer. And then he moved back to District 4 as their bridge and local government engineer again. He currently lives here in Oklahoma City, and he's been married 11 years to his wife, Audrey, and he has 2 children. So appreciate the opportunity of allowing me to introduce him. Thank you.
Thank you. Item 161 is approval of the minutes of the Transportation Commission meeting on November 4, 2024. Do I have a motion for approval of item 161?
Motion Dyson.
Thank you. And a second?
Second Alexander.
Thank you. Any discussion? Please cast your vote. Motion passes. Thank you very much. The consent docket contains items 162 through 165. If any commissioner would like to pull an individual item out for discussion, he may do so at this time. Otherwise, I'll hear a motion for approval of the consent docket.
So moved.
Thank you, Commissioner Shannon.
Second, Coburn.
And thank you, Commissioner Coburn. Please cast your vote. Motion passes. Thank you very much. Item 166 is National Electric Vehicle Infrastructure Contracts. Mr. Swenison, you are recognized to present.
Good morning,
Good
Mr.
morning.
Commissioners. As a reminder, the National Electric Vehicle Infrastructure, known as NEVI, formula program funded by the IIJA is a $5 billion program that plans to make historic investments in electric vehicle charging infrastructure across the country. This program aims to establish a network of 500,000 EV chargers by 2030 along federally designated alternative fuel corridors in the United States, and ensure the convenient, reliable, affordable, and equitable charging experience for all users. Oklahoma is allocated $66 million from federal fiscal years 2022 through 2026. The NEVI funding formula fund is created funds to create the EV charging network across the state, which will build out Oklahoma's AFCs and allow ODOT to address additional priorities as the program evolves. In April 2024, the tentative award to the contractor for the EV charging infrastructure was brought to you for approval. Post-award, before contracting, Tesla could not meet program standards for the gap awarded along I-44 in Oklahoma City. Due to not meeting the program requirements, ODOT requested that the award be revoked from Tesla as directed by state procurement rules, awarded to the second place finisher, EVgo, for this gap. This action financial impact will decrease the private participation by $519,740 and the total project cost by $317,932. The federal portion will increase by $201,781. Recommended for approval and happy to take any questions.
You've heard the presentation. Do I have a motion for approval of item 166?
LaForge, move for approval.
Thank you. And a second?
Second Dyson.
Thank you. Any discussion? Please cast your vote. Motion passes. Thank you very much, Mr. Swenison. And I occasionally mention this at the start of the meeting. The students perhaps might be interested, but we meet, there are 3 subcommittees that meet this morning, and usually for an hour and a half to 2 hours, and go over all of these items in detail. And in this case, we heard from Mr. Swenison in our earlier subcommittee meeting, as did the other commissioners. So sometimes we look like a quite agreeable group, but it's been rehashed, I promise, thoroughly. before we get this far. So, thank you. Item 167 is a programming item. Mr. Hernandez, you are recognized to present.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman,
Good morning.
Commissioners. Item 167 is a programming item to repair vehicle impact damage. It's located in District 2, Bryan County, to the Redbud Lane Bridge over US 69 and US 75. The department requests approval to program a project to repair the vehicle impact damage to the Redbud Lane Bridge, located approximately 6.77 miles north of the junction US 69 business in Bryan County. Estimated cost of this project is $125,000 using state aid funds. The project will be ready for a May 2025 letting. There are currently no restrictions on the bridge. The party responsible for the damage is known and approval is recommended. I'll
Good.
answer any questions you might have.
Do you believe the party responsible has the funds?
That is not my
Ms.
purview,
Penn,
but-
do we believe the party responsible has money? We will get what we can. Okay. Very good. I
We'll
count
do
on
what we
that.
can to find out.
All right. You've heard that presentation. Do I have a motion for approval of item 167?
Motion for approval, Studeville.
Thank you. And Commissioner Studeville, and do I have a second?
Second, Coburn.
Thank you. Any discussion? Please cast your vote. Motion passes. Item 168 is engineering contracts. Mr. Hernandez, you are recognized to continue.
Okay, thank you. For this month, for a more cohesive presentation, we're going to break these up. Normally, we go through statewide, and then we'll do by field district, and then alphabetical by county. This month, we're going to do, Part A is going to be statewide on demand. Parts B through F will be off-system bridge formula program projects. Parts G through J will be standalone 8-year construction work plan projects, and parts K through P will be Interstate 35 corridor projects running south to north from mile marker 8.3 to mile marker 41. And I'll repeat that as I go through, but that's just for some information. Part A is on-demand, multiple districts statewide. This is for on-demand underwater bridge inspection. The department has selected 2 firms to provide these services, and they'll be utilized on an as-needed basis. The department has selected Collins Engineers and Consor Engineers. The aggregate not-to-exceed amount is $2 million. Again, parts B through F were included in the bridge formula program approved at the November 6, 2023 commission meeting. Part B is in District 1, Okmulgee County. This is in Henrietta, city bridges over coal and unnamed creeks. Proposed project improvements are to replace 3 bridges on existing alignment. The department has selected CEC Corporation, and the contract value is not to exceed $734,900. Part C is in District 3, McLean County. This is in Blanchard, city bridge over Stinson Creek. Proposed project improvement is to replace bridge on existing alignment. And the department has selected Burgess and Nyepel to provide these services. Contract value is not to exceed $201,123. Part D is in District 3, Seminole County. This is a city bridge over Magnolia Creek in Seminole. Again, the proposed improvement is to replace the bridge on existing alignment. The department has selected WSB LLC, and the contract value is not to exceed $299,610. Part E is in District 6, Woodward County. This is in Woodward, city bridge over Crystal Beach Spillway. Proposed project improvement is to replace bridge on existing alignment. The department has selected H.W. Lochner to provide these services, and the contract value is not to exceed $362,326. And then Part F, this is in District 7, Comanche County and Medicine Park, city bridge over East and West Lake Drive. Again, the project improvements proposed are to replace bridge on existing alignment. The department has selected Poe and Associates to provide these services, and the contract value is not to exceed $708,423. Parts G through J are standalone 8-year construction work plan projects. Excuse me.
You've got a lot to read this morning.
I do. And I didn't talk for the last 4 days. Okay, this is in, Part G is in District 4, Oklahoma County, I-40 over Council Road. Proposed project improvements are to reconstruct, rehabilitate the existing facility. Proposed project, I'm sorry, I just read that part. The department has selected Garver LLC, and the contract value is not to exceed $2,123,100. This project is included in the 8-year construction work plan with the scheduled let date in federal fiscal year 2032. Part H, this is the first part of a 2-part contract. This is the preliminary engineering. The final design will be by supplement later. And this is in District 4, Oklahoma County, I-35. The proposed project improvements are to reconstruct, rehabilitate existing facility, including the Danforth interchange, add capacity to roadway, intersection modification, geometric improvements, and a replaced bridge on an offset alignment. The department has selected Garver LLC to provide these services, and the contract value is not to exceed $3,212,665. This project is included in the 8-year construction work plan with the scheduled let date in federal fiscal year 2031. Part I is in District 4, Oklahoma County, I-40. Proposed project improvements are to reconstruct, rehabilitate the existing facility and geometric improvements. The department has selected CEC Corporation, and the contract value is not to exceed $2,017,114. This project is included in the 8-year construction work plan with a scheduled let date in federal fiscal year 2030. Part J is District 5, Washita County, I-40 north and south frontage roads. The proposed project improvements are to replace bridges on existing alignment. The department has selected RRP Consulting Engineers, and their contract value is not to exceed $1,145,600. These projects are included in the 8-year construction work plan with the scheduled let date in federal fiscal year 2031. Okay, now parts K through P are I-35 corridor projects. Like I said earlier, they span from mile marker 8.3 to the south to mile marker 41. The general intent of all of these projects are to increase capacity with additional lanes in each direction and to modify or replace bridges as necessary. So Part K is in District 7, Love County. This is I-35 mile marker 8.3 to 11. This is just north of the US 77 bridge replacement we did a couple years back. The department has selected Freeze and Nichols Incorporated to provide these services, and contract value is not to exceed $1,685,405. The right-of-way and utility phases of this project are included in the 8-year construction work plan with a scheduled let date in federal fiscal year 2030. Part L is District 7, Love County, mile marker 11 to 16.85. Proposed project improvements are to reconstruct, rehabilitate existing facility, add capacity to roadway, and replace bridges on existing alignment. The department has selected Team Design to provide these services. The contract value is not to exceed $4,836,050. The right-of-way and utility phases of this project are included in the 8-year construction work plan with a scheduled let date in federal fiscal year 2028. Part M, District 7, Love County, mile marker 16.85 to 23. The proposed project improvements are to reconstruct, rehabilitate the existing facility, add capacity to roadway, and replace bridges on existing alignment. The department has selected WSB to provide these services, and their contract value is not to exceed $6,200,205. The right-of-way phase of this project is included in the 8-year construction work plan with the scheduled let date in federal fiscal year 2031. Part N is District 7, Love County, mile marker 23 to 30.52. And the proposed improvements are to reconstruct, rehabilitate existing facility, add capacity to roadway, and replace bridges on existing alignment. The department has selected Smith Roberts Balderschweiler to provide these services, and their contract value is not to exceed $3,226,052. The right-of-way phase of this project is included in the 8-year construction work plan with scheduled let date in federal fiscal year 2031. Part O, again, this is the first part of a 2-part contract. This is preliminary engineering. The final design will be by supplement later. This is Carter County, I-35, mile marker 30.52 to 34.1. And the proposed improvements are to reconstruct, rehabilitate existing facility, add capacity to roadway, and replace bridges on existing alignment. The department has selected CP&Y Incorporated, doing business as STV Infrastructure, and their contract value is not to exceed $1,342,504. Right-of-way and utility phases of this project are included in the 8-year construction work plan with the scheduled let date in federal fiscal year 2029. And finally, Part B, District 7, Carter County, I-35, mile marker 34.1 to 41. Proposed project improvements are to reconstruct, rehabilitate existing facility, add capacity to roadway, and replace bridges on existing alignment. The department has selected Olson Incorporated to provide these services, and their contract value is not to exceed $2,791,218. This project is included in the 8-year construction work plan with the scheduled let date in federal fiscal year 2032. The approval of these engineering contracts is recommended, and I'll stand for any questions you might have.
Thank you. You've heard the presentation. Do I have a motion for approval of item 168?
Motion Dyson.
Thank you. And a second?
Second by Shannon.
Thank you. And any discussion? Lots of work here, we heard. All right, please cast your vote. Motion passes. Mr. Hernandez, item 169 is engineering contract supplements. You are recognized to continue.
Okay. For item 169, or agenda item 169, I've got four parts, 2 statewide and 2 project specific. Part A is all districts statewide, on-demand scour data assessment and repair recommendations for off-system bridges. This is the first supplement. The department has previously selected 4 consulting firms to provide these services. They're Burgess and Nyepel, Consor Engineers, Guy Engineering Services, and H.W. Lochner. Total aggregate increase for these contract supplements is $1 million. Part B, also statewide, on-demand cultural resources, inventories, National Register of Historic Places, evaluations and mitigation proposals. This is the first and second supplements. The department has previously selected 7 consulting firms to provide these services. This is the first supplement for Alpine Archaeological Consultants, Environmental Research Group, Blanton and Associates, Mead and Hunt, Stantec Consulting Services, and WSP USA Environment and Infrastructure, and the second supplement for Integrated Environmental Solutions. The total aggregate increase for these contract supplements is $2,100,000. Part C is in District 4, Oklahoma County, I-35 over Waterloo Road. The proposed project improvements are to reconstruct, rehabilitate existing facility, add capacity to roadway, geometric improvements, intersection modification, and replace bridge on existing alignment. This is the 8th supplement. The department has previously selected Garver LLC to provide these services. The supplement value is not to exceed $194,390. This supplements for additional engineering to develop final construction plans, and the project is included in the 8-year construction work plan with the scheduled let date in federal fiscal year 2026. And finally, Part D is District 8, Delaware County, US 59. Proposed project improvements are to replace bridge on existing alignment. This is the 3rd supplement. The department has previously selected Garver LLC to provide the services. Supplement value is not to exceed $30,835, and this is for additional engineering to develop final construction plans. This project was previously let in federal fiscal year 2022. Approval of the engineering contract supplements is recommended, and I'll try to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you. I just wanted to add that I appreciate the insertion of the graphical explanation of these projects. It certainly makes it much more intuitive and makes it a lot easier to understand what you're doing. So thank you very much.
Thank you for the feedback.
You've heard item 169. You've heard the presentation. Do I have a motion for approval of item 169?
Move forward and move for approval.
Thank you. And a second?
Coburn, second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Please cast your vote. Motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Hernandez. Item 170 is change orders with cumulative total of $150,000 or less. This is for your information only. Mr. Leonard, you are recognized to present.
Morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. Yes, I'd like to present item number 170, parts A through double B. These are change orders on projects which have a cumulative total of change orders of $150,000 or less. This item is presented for your information only, but I'd certainly be glad to entertain any questions.
If there are no questions, Mr. Leonard, you're recognized to present item 171, change orders with cumulative total greater than $150,000.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, item 171, parts A through double D. These are change orders on projects which have a cumulative total of change orders greater than $150,000. Your approval is recommended, and I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Would you care to take this opportunity to explain how Oklahoma ranks against the other states' transportation departments in terms of change orders, percentages of the total?
I'd be glad to. Yes, our contract growth, most other states around the nation range anywhere from 10 to 15, 20%. And that's the difference between the contract amount, the original contract amount, and the final amount that we pay. Proud to say that Oklahoma, that national average is 4.5. Last year, state fiscal year 24, we ended up at 1.59%. This year, so far, we've processed 116 change orders or completion projects, and we're sitting at 0.55%. So, yeah.
That really is terrific. That happens to be the subcommittee that I'm part of, and we go over all of these change orders, and so we were sort of joking that I thought we should bring recognition to the engineers and to all the employees at ODOT for watching out for the taxpayers' money.
Absolutely.
So thank you very much.
You bet.
I would just like to say, it's remarkable if they can get that close each time, you know, with their numbers on what they bid out jobs and get them done for without making very few changes in the state of Oklahoma, which
Absolutely.
shows our engineering group is doing a remarkable job.
For sure.
Agreed.
Appreciate that.
You've heard the presentation. Do I have a motion for approval of item 171?
Primary approach.
Thank you. And a second?
Second, Shannon.
Thank you, Commissioner Shannon. Any discussion? Please cast your vote. Motion passes. Thank you very much, Mr. Leonard. Item 172 is proposed administrative agency rules. Ms. Penn, you are recognized to present, and I hope you'll read every word of these scintillating changes to us this morning.
As a Christmas present, I will not.
Yes. Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good
Thank
morning.
you. Before you have proposed administrative rules. The first is Title 730, Chapter 10-25-1, Oklahoma Port Infrastructure Revolving Fund. And this set of rules was proposed as a result of the legislation that was passed by the legislature this year, the Oklahoma Port Infrastructure Revolving Fund, and it required the promulgation of administrative agency rules. The purpose of this program is to fund qualified projects that are determined to provide a public benefit that enhances the safe and efficient operation of commercial waterway systems or repairs, improves, or constructs waterway or industrial park infrastructure located at or within waterway ports in the state. B, Title 730, Chapter 25-7-2, Settlement of disputes arising during performance of construction or maintenance contracts, mediation and arbitration. The proposed amendments to this section allow for additional levels of involvement in the claims process and thereby providing opportunities to settle disputes more quickly and avoid possible arbitration and additional legal action. C, Oklahoma Administrative Code, Title 730, Chapter 30, Appendix C, License Fee Schedule. The proposed rule reestablishes the license fee schedule to comply with the fee scheduled reference in Title 70, Chapter 30, which is the bridge section and utility license fees. D, Oklahoma Administrative Code, Title 730, Chapter 35-1-11, Department maintenance within Start again.
It's a mouthful.
Department maintenance within municipalities. In 2023, the department amended the language in Chapter 35 for ODOT to handle traffic signals and lighting maintenance when necessary. The proposed rule amends the language of this section to conform with that change and make it consistent. The proposed amendment would allow ODOT to better assist municipalities with traffic control installation and maintenance. And finally, Oklahoma Administrative Code, Title 730, Chapter 50-5-17. The language has been changed to show that the College of Engineering, Architecture, and Technology will be the lead for the operator certification program for escort vehicles for hire. Your approval is recommended.
Thank you very much. You've heard the presentation. Do I have a motion for approval of item 172?
Motion Junk.
Thank you, Commissioner Junkin. A second?
Second, Alexander.
Thank you. Any discussion? Please cast your vote. Motion passes. Thank you very much, Ms. Penn. Item 173 is a reimbursement resolution. Ms. Hilmes, you are recognized to present.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and
Good morning.
members of the commission. Agenda item 173 is for the reimbursement resolution. This item is submitted for consideration and approval of the commission, is a resolution declaring the intent of the commission to reimburse certain capital expenditures on the state highway system with the proceeds of tax-exempt state highway capital improvement revenue bonds issued by the Oklahoma Capital Improvement Authority in accordance with applicable U.S. Treasury regulations. As you may recall, in June of this year, with the presentation of the budget, I mentioned the legislature passed House Bill 2915, which provided authorization allowing $500 million in debt issuance, either through the issuance of bonds or the TIFIA loan program, U.S. DOT Build America program. And just a reminder, the projects are attached to the resolution, and those three projects are the Chickasha bypass, the Roosevelt Bridge, and I-35 expansion from Norman to the Texas state line. And I request approval of your approval as recommended, I should say.
Thank you. And I believe it's safe to say that as a state, Oklahoma has very little indebtedness on its highway system. I believe we are one of the lowest in the nation.
Of debt issuance on our highway? Yes, sir, we're in the bottom 10.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
very good. Another thing to be proud of. You've heard the presentation. Do I have a motion for approval of item 173?
Motion by Studeville.
Thank you. And a second?
Second Dyson.
Thank you. Any discussion? Please cast your vote. Motion passes. Thank you. Item 174 is proposed bid openings. Ms. Bryant, you are recognized to present.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. Item 174, proposed bid openings, consist of the final January 2025, the tentative February 2025, and the tentative March 2025 bid openings. The department recommends approval.
Thank you very much. You've heard the presentation. Do I have a motion for approval of item 174?
LaForge move for approval.
Thank you. And a second?
Freimiller, second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Hearing none, please cast your vote. Motion passes. Thank you very much, Ms. Bryant. Item 175 is awards. Mr. Goka, you are recognized to present.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. Item 175 is awards from the November bid openings. It will be in two parts. Part A is from the November 14th, 2024 regular bid opening. It is recommended that the following items from the November 14th bid opening referred to by call order be awarded: 500, 540, 550, 551, 555, 600, and 615. Part B, from the November 21st regular bid opening, it is recommended that the following items from the November 21st bid opening referred to by call order be awarded: 501, 505, 510, 515, 520, 525, 530, 535, 545, 560, 570, 575, 585, 601, 605, 610, 620, 625, 630, 631, 635, 640, 645, 650, 655, and 660. This concludes the recommendations, and your approval is requested.
Thank you very much. You've heard the presentation. I have a motion for approval of item 175.
Motion Dyson.
Thank you. In a second?
Second, Coburn.
Thank you. And any discussion? All right, please cast your vote. Motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Goka. Item 176 is a director's report. Director Gatz, you are recognized to present.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Commissioners, if I might, and no offense to the commission, but I think I want to turn around and visit with these kids for just a minute.
Please.
So again, I want to emphasize how much we appreciate you guys coming and participating this morning. The thing I'd ask you to recognize is what you've just seen in this meeting. The number one factor in the ability to conduct this business is workforce. It's our people. And what you've seen is engineers come to the podium and conduct business. You've seen attorneys. You've seen accountants. Beyond that, we've got our field district folks in the room with us. Our field districts are all across the state of Oklahoma, and they utilize equipment operators. They utilize engineers out in the field districts, technicians. So there are so many opportunities, not to mention, you heard the award of construction contracts. Our construction contractor partners are in the room here today. Those contractors need the same thing: equipment operators, welders, people that can fabricate bridge beams and things like that. Also our consulting engineer partners who help us with all of our engineering activities. So the opportunities for you as kids to be able to work and have a job in heavy highway construction, in the transportation industry, there are so many different opportunities, not to mention the technical side of this. So it takes IT, so computer programmers and computer software developers. And this is being live streamed. It takes audio visual people and graphic artists and things like that to really make this work. So again, the opportunities that you have in front of you are tremendous. And what I'd ask is for you to take advantage of that. Position yourselves as young people to take that next step into the workforce and do a great job. I invite you to come work for the Department of Transportation first, but if we can't find a place for you, certainly our contracting community, Bobby and the AOGC are such a fantastic conduit to connect with you young people and show you what the opportunities are out there for you in the future. So thank you so much for being here with us today and for being a part of the meeting. So I want to offer an update on our continuing resolution at the federal level. As you gentlemen know, our current appropriation runs out on December the 20th. That comes to us in the form of a continuing resolution. I'm going to be cautiously optimistic and predict that at some point before the 20th, we get a full year's appropriation. I really hope the Congress takes that up and kind of clears the deck for the incoming president because he will be immediately facing the challenge of preparing next year's budget. So again, I am optimistic that they'll take that up and give us a full year's appropriation. Cautiously optimistic means 51% versus 49 maybe. But again, I really hope that we get a full year's appropriation so we can go ahead and conduct business in a more appropriate manner. So we will obviously keep a close eye on that over the coming weeks and days, and as soon as we get an update, we'll pass that along to the commission. Considered some really major projects this morning. Thank you for accepting our recommendation for award of some really important contracts. One on US 259 in Hochtown in District 2. That project is a $29.7 million contract for 2.3 miles, and that'll add a center turn lane, 5-lane typical section, pedestrian improvements. We expect it to start in early spring. It's got a completion date of October 1 of 2026. And it's the first phase of the Hochtown projects that are going to help traffic in a very busy tourist and commercial area. The thing I want to recognize about what's happening in McCurtain County, and Hochtown in particular, is it's special. It is the beginning really, it's been ongoing, but what we're seeing down there now is the materialization of a recreational area and a tourist area that I don't really think we've ever seen before. And the ability to manage traffic in that environment down there on a highway system that has got a lot of deficiencies is challenging to us, but this is the beginning of making it better. And not only are we going to try to facilitate traffic flow better, we're going to accommodate the utility expansions that are needed in that area. We're going to accommodate pedestrian circulation, which is hugely deficient right now down there. There's really it's not real walkable. But in the future, it's going to have to be as we continue to see this kind of development. We've got a chance to be a difference maker down there, and we're going to improve the conditions, but we are also going to be exceptionally mindful of the area that we're working in. We're going to accept that it's a tourism recreational developing area. We're going to be very careful to interact at a high level of detail with the businesses that are adjacent to 259, and certainly take into consideration all the desires of the community. So this is phase one of a multi-phase project. The next phase, hopefully, will pick up and extend north through the Ho Chi Town proper in about 2026 as this one wraps up. And then we'll have a final phase that connects this project down south to Broken Bow. So again, just want to make sure the commission understands that the Department of Transportation recognizes the environment that we're working in down there, and we recognize how very sensitive we're going to have to be during these construction activities. So I-40 in Okemah in District 3, we're going to have a bridge rehabilitation project that's got a $3 million contract value. That's near State Highway 48. The project's going to begin in January, take us about 6 months to complete. The reason we want to point that out is because it will be disruptive to traffic on Interstate 40. There'll be some periods where we've got one lane open, and but again, we ask for the patience of the traveling public as we work our way through that. We'll do our best to work quickly and try to minimize the impacts as we go into next year's summer season, especially. Highway 152 in Oklahoma City area, District 4, we appreciate your consideration of the $18 million contract along 152 between I-44 and Meridian Avenue. This project is going to improve access for anyone traveling to and from the airport especially, and it's going to help traffic flow between I-240 and I-44. Also, it's going to add some signage to help motorists navigate the area. We expect it to begin in spring, take a little over a year to complete, but it will be, again, a pretty significant construction project in a highly traveled area. Highway 412, extending west out of Enid. We're going to put shoulders on the existing lanes as part of a 4-lane project that we completed a long time ago, but we left the original lanes in place. We're going to go back now and add shoulders, make that a much safer highway, and at the same time, we're going to overlay the new lanes that were added some time back. And again, we anticipate that always having at least one lane open in each direction through the 500-day project. And again, that's going to be a much safer facility when we get done with that project. In Catoosa on State Highway 66, we've got a $7.2 million contract that's going to replace a truss bridge on 66 there in Rogers County. Weather permitting, we expect the project to begin in April, complete in early 2026 in time for the Route 66 Centennial Celebration. So we're going to be sensitive to that. And it also, again, anytime we've got truss bridges on the highway system, we're particularly mindful of that. We have been able to replace many of those trusses as part of our structurally deficient bridge program over the past 20 years. Justin tells me we've got 7 left, and at one point we had above 100 of those truss bridges out on the highway system. So we're making progress. Truss bridges are fracture critical structures, and that causes us particular concern. This one's got about a 15-foot clear height on Route 66, which is not desirable for us. So again, it'd be good to have that project completed. our safety campaign for December, and as I sit here and I kind of process where we're at on the calendar, doesn't seem possible, but this is the last commission meeting we'll have before Christmas and New Year's. So we want to take the opportunity to remind everybody to be careful out there during your holiday travel. Some of the biggest travel days that we're going to experience are ahead of us. We just had Thanksgiving, which I think we saw record numbers out on the highways and traveling around the country. So we want to make sure that everybody remembers, as you gather with family and friends, we want to make sure, to go down that checklist, buckle your seatbelt, observe the posted speed limit, put your phone down, keep your eyes up. Do all the things that you got to do to make your travel as safe as possible, because we want you to make it to those holiday events, and we want you to make it home safely. So always keep that in mind. As winter approaches, and we've certainly enjoyed an extended period of good weather, but winter's here, and we are going to see some frozen precipitation at some point. I want to remind everybody that they need to take their winter measures. You want to put some extra blankets, maybe an extra jacket in the vehicle with you. Always carry some bottled water, maybe some snacks in case you get caught, especially as our partners in the weather centers begin to predict some of the inclement weather that we know we're going to experience. On the ODOT side, we're ready. We're responsible for maintaining more than 30,000 lane miles of highway in the state, and part of that is inclement weather maintenance. We've got about 1,500 employees out there that are able to operate about 500 different pieces of equipment to respond to those inclement weather events. Our salt sheds are full. We're ready. John Logan out in District 6 has already pushed around a little bit of snow out at the very tip of the panhandle. But again, just want to reassure you that our workforce is prepared. We're ready for whatever the winter may bring us, and we're going to do our best to keep traffic moving. But we also need the drivers out there on the highways to, again, especially in inclement weather periods, slow down. Those posted black and white speed limits are for ideal conditions out on the road. So if you're in a rainstorm, if you're in a ice condition or a snowstorm, you've got to adjust your speed limit and travel safely. Also, I want to recognize Joni Seymour is going to transition. She has served in a role as our Chief Innovation Officer, and she's really helped the department make extreme progress on some of our technology initiatives, some of our organizational innovation that we've experienced, and we so much appreciate her help in those arenas. She's about to transition to more of a full-time role back at the Turnpike Authority as their deputy director, and I want to wish her well in that role with the Turnpike Authority. She won't stop working with us completely, because we're going to continue to call on her for help. But I want to thank her for all of the work that she's done and how she's been engaged and involved with the department. So, Joni, thank you so much. With that, Mr. Chairman, I would stand for any questions that the commission might have of me.
A question, are the students driving? Are you all driving age? No, not yet. Okay. What was the little saying? I think he was here last month, and you. There you go. That's a good one.
And I'm still not going to dance.
Everybody needs to remember that. Thank you.
Yes.
Any questions from commissioners or comments? All right. Thank you, Director Gatz.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Bobby, sorry.
Do any of the students have any questions about what went on here today or anything?
Bunch of boring old guys.
We're too old to have questions asked.
All right.
Thank you all very much for coming today.
Yes, thank you. If commissioners have no other comments, I'd hear a motion for item 177, which is adjournment.
LaForge. So
Thank
moved.
you, Commissioner. And do I have a second?
Copeland, second.
Thank you. Please cast your vote. Thank you.